Let us talk about what are we here to do, and let us talk about what is the real deal. Okay, now here is the honest truth uh, that we could try our level best to be at best state of cybersecurity, but hear me out. We will never achieve that. Reason is because, and don't get me wrong, I am not trying to belittle our Malaysian capability, but the reason why is more complex than just awareness. I would probably put the understanding of cybersecurity at a state where we would have to understand the global landscape of what cybersecurity is all about. Um, Let me simplify this understanding by basic means. Now, we in cybersecurity generally have what we call as the triad or the CIA triad. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about this. I was talking about the reason why cybersecurity could not be at a full-on readiness state within Malaysia or even globally, if you will. All right. One of the key reasons I would say is we would probably have to understand the real definition behind the cybersecurity concept. It's called the CIA triad. Now, just for your information, the CIA triad model, it's something that we have been using quite a long time in the past. Okay, basically it's confidentiality, um, integrity. I'm sorry, let me just. Hold on, just give me a minute. And availability. Okay. Now, this is the common concept which the entire cybersecurity division around the world has been flirting around and they have been messing around with this. But unfortunately, the year is 2024. This model alone is not going to be efficient to to maintain cybersecurity state among Malaysians. Okay, it's sad to say that despite our best effort in Malaysia, and I'm going to just speak on behalf of Malaysia as per se, although the government has spent a lot of effort trying to improve cybersecurity, there are a lot of projects that's going on to implement ISMS, which is Information Security Management System, compliances. From the government itself, there are a ton of efforts. There are even organizational efforts by NACSA, Cybersecurity in Malaysia. But let's skip all of that and understand why is it that despite our the best effort that we are still failing. Let's understand that. Now, to give you guys a short answer is this: cybersecurity is only as good as 95%. Okay, I'll tell you this right from the start. Ain't no way someone could achieve 100% state of security. Now, so you might want to argue with me and say, hey, if you say 95% is the maximum value that you can achieve, what is that additional 5% that you can't control? Now, this I would say these are the risk factors which are in a way controllable, but at the same time not really controlled by many people. And the first factor I would say is human factor. Yep, ain't no firewall for a human mouth. Ain't no cure for human stupidity. Now, forgive me for being so blunt, but this is what it is. Human factor has been long stated as the number one factor that is literally the weakest chain in your security circle. All right. Number two, besides human factor, what will be the most common reason why cybersecurity fails? Well, here we go. Evolution of technology. Now, I have been noticing from last year onwards. No, hang on. Was it last year? Okay. Let's imagine this from January 2023 until currently. There were a lot of organizations that embarked on the project of data science, There were a lot of companies that are embarking on the journey of artificial intelligence. Some are going to the journey of, blockchain. There are a lot of organizations out there that are trying their best to be updated and to be those bleeding edge company, to be up to be the first and the most advanced, so called. But what people do not understand is, with technology, just like what Spider-Man said, with power comes great responsibilities. And I would not agree less when it comes to technology. The same idea applies. With the advancements of technology, it comes together with risk. And as of 2023 until 2024, Malaysian company, many of them has experienced a significant amount of data breaches, especially when it comes to unsecured APIs by AI algorithms, uh, the usage of cloud services, for example, has even resulted in such a um, what should I say, a scenario where uh, information has been leaked out. There are also many scenarios where I don't want to mention the banks. Forgive me. I think I'm not in the right liberty to tell you which bank it was, but we had two or three banks in Malaysia that had the same evolution of technology problems where it backfired at their own organizations, where there were many instances of data being breached. There were many instances where customer sensitive data were leaked out. There were many instances where uh, the technology basically did not function that well. And perhaps, maybe as an example, I can possibly give you some ideas of what happened in the past. Okay, but that again, I will talk a bit shortly. This is just a preview of what I'm talking about. Number two is uh, part of what I will be talking is why incident response is so underrated. Now, here's the best part. We are all prepared with the necessary hardware, software. A lot of us are attending cybersecurity training, but the sad thing here, I would say, is despite our best effort with our cybersecurity training, not many organizations are actually training when it comes to how to handle incidents should it happen. Now, again, like I said, I'm not going to mention which bank, I'm not going to mention which organization, but many Malaysians, when they kena ransomware and whatnot, they are running haywire. Many cases in Malaysian context, so many organizations. Just last year alone, we had about nearly 60 organizations. I'm not talking about small organizations. I'm talking about top MNCs. I'm talking about top MNCs that had suffered a significant loss because of ransomware attack. Now, why is that so? Well, like I said, we invest a lot of money when it comes to technology, but we do not invest anything on preparedness, right? Incident management is what I would imagine as what you would do when you want to anticipate for fire. Now, I'm sure that a lot of us would have, at some point or rather in life, during your professional work career, might have attended or even participated in um, well, in a fire drill example, right? Now, why isn't it for most Malaysian organizations that you could actually have the sense to have fire drill, but why can't we have a drill to simulate a cybersecurity incident, right? Now, that is another topic that I'm going to be talking about here with regards to incident response process. And of course, part of my conversation also will be on with regards to forensic investigations and a bit more on the actual process of incident analysis and how do we look at the lesson learned from previous cases that has happened across the world. Although, like I said, I am not going to talk on the company, but I can give you a brief idea of what really happened in the past. Okay. Now, here is a little stat of the current state of Malaysian cybersecurity. Now, I did not get this data from ChatGPT. This is actual data from Cybersecurity Malaysia. I do not have way back data, but this is something I have actually analyzed, and I'm just giving you guys a snippet out of it. So it says that in 2022, Cybersecurity Malaysia reported a total of 4,741 cyber threats. Now, here's something interesting. Of all the 4,741 cyber threats that happened in Malaysia, literally 4,000 of those are in the category of fraud. Yes, you heard me right, fraud. I'm talking about people who wants to steal your money. I'm talking about people who wants to get access to your credentials. I am talking about people who wants to spam you. I'm also talking about people who wants to basically phish you and all of that, right? Cybersecurity fraud has been always a top concern in Malaysia, followed by intrusion or content related issue. And last but not least, but I would say the last but not least, where I'm talking about malicious code, but you have to understand the most damage to Malaysian cybersecurity is actually the malicious code. Now, a lot of us, a lot of us, we put our trust on technology blindly that we forget that most of the technologies that we use today, if you want to argue with me on this, go right ahead. But I am only stating the facts as they are. The most common securities that are out there, they are just nothing more than a basic preventive technology. Let me say this again. They are nothing more than a basic preventive technology. That's it. Okay. Now, let's recap a bit and let's go as far as 2015 or 16, if I'm not mistaken. We had an incident of a massive ransomware attack called NoPetya. Now, if the antiviruses were as adequate as they are, okay, if they were, shouldn't they be able to stop the attack when it has happened? Right? And let's ask another question. If the entire solutions of security that we use in our day-to-day computer, now I'm not talking about corporate organization, I'm talking about basic laptop that you and I use in our house, that probably your mom and dad could be using on a phone, that your son could be using on an iPad. Now, if all of the technologies are basically up to the mark, cybersecurity incidents should not have happened. So question is, why is it continuously happening? I'll answer that shortly. But let's move on a bit. But on last year itself, from January to August, again, we have a slight decline when it comes to the reported cases. Now, here's something funny about Malaysia. Most companies that kena hack are reluctant to report it to the state authority, like Cybersecurity Malaysia or MCMC or whoever, right? And the reason why they are afraid to report this is because it's reputation. Like, for example, I'm just stating this name, don't quote me on this. For example, let's just imagine that CIMB Bank got themselves bashed. Okay, let's just imagine that. I'm not saying they got bashed, but I'm just saying as an example, right? Let's say they got bashed. Do you think they would want to go upfront to the customer and say, hey, yo, listen, our bank has got data has been stolen by some hackers. I think all of us should be more protected with your data. Now, what will that result to you? How would your perception be towards that bank moving on? Now, that is the reason why a lot of Malaysian companies. Now, again, like I said, I am not naming anybody. I'm just giving an example. But a lot of Malaysian companies are shying away to report this because in Malaysia, currently, we have many laws that slaps a huge lawsuit against organizations that fail to secure the state of security. Example, PCI DSS. Example, PDPA. Yes, Malaysian Personal Data Privacy Act slaps at max 500,000 ringgit or even a jail term for those who fail to take care of customers' data in terms of their privacy. Okay, so this is something which is majorly concerning to many organizations. Um, and a lot of us assume that by just having a firewall, we have a DLP, we have domain controller, we have this and yada yada blah blah blah. I don't want to go to the details of the cybersecurity technologies as per se, but a lot of us are in a state of confidence just because they have all of this. But what people are not understanding in Malaysia is the best technology may not be able to save you. The best practices will. Okay, so that's the difference. The best technology doesn't safeguard you from attacks. The best practices will. So a lot of us are investing a lot on technology, but we are not even blinking an eye or batting an eye when it comes to practices. So that being said, I want to show you guys a little statistics. This is from 2024. I managed to pull it up until the month of May. Okay. Now, again, as far as MCMC is concerned, a lot of Malaysian attacks. If you see the color, which is gray. I'm sorry, I'm a bit color blind, but it's gray, I think. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it's gray. So as you can see, in Malaysia, from January right up to May, the major cases that has been hammering Malaysian citizens by far the highest rate is the fraud issues. Yep, like you see that's the matching color. Malicious codes are also continuously evolving, right? Malicious codes are continuously evolving. And not to mention, if you look at green, a lot of Malaysian, and I think I would say the MCMC's concern is the content-related issues. For example, fake maladvertisement that's going on in Facebook, fake maladvertisement that goes in Instagram. Sometimes some organizations that does not exist, but they would advertise in such a way that they are legit companies. And I'm sad to say this, but majority of Malaysian people who get scammed or a victim of a scam are our elderly citizens. Uh, Jokes aside, for some reason, I don't know why, or I do not know what's the modus operandi, or neither do I know how do they know this. But as far as I can say, newly retired people who probably have a million or two in their KWSP account are the constant target by a lot of these perpetrators. Okay, could it be an insider information from KWSP? It's not for me to say, but again, it's just my assumption. Okay, could it be someone from a bank that could have been leaking out this information to those perpetrators? Again, I do not know. It is just a safe assumption. But the mere fact that the elderly people in our Malaysian community are constantly targeted for the fraud is a major concern. Okay. But here's another funny statistics, although it's not here, but I have managed to discover this by myself. I figured out that even young people who are, okay, I'm sorry guys, are you still able to hear me? Am I audible? Or am I not? Hello? Okay, so I'm getting someone who's messaging on the site here saying that I'm not audible. So stop and let me know if for some reason I'm not audible and whatnot. Kindly let me know. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Ikwan. All right. Okay, thank you so much for those who are able to confirm that to me, because I'm screaming on top of my lungs here and trying to deliver my points. All right. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying just now, the statistics in Malaysia clearly shows that this is our current state of cybersecurity that is happening, and we are not doing well. Okay. Now, on the flip side, do you think Singapore is doing well? No, they are not doing well as well. Is Thailand doing better than Malaysia? They got bigger problems to worry about, because in Malaysia, our scam happens with WhatsApp, Facebook. In Thailand, it happens with Line. In Singapore, it happens with their own application. I'm not so sure. I mean, Singaporeans use iCloud messaging, WhatsApp, whatever have you. So chat platforms are a common launch platform for attackers to some or other to get themselves hooked. Surprisingly, by gender statistics, sad, but a lot of men are in the highest statistics. I'll give you an example. This is a funny story. Uh, four, 4 weeks ago, I've met an elderly gentleman, and by the way, I do work for JSJK, Jabatan Siasatan Jenayah Commercial, as an external consultant. Sometimes I'm called in for aiding the investigation, especially when it comes to high-profile cases. Now, I'm not going to reveal who it was, but this particular gentleman, a VIP, if you may say, actually gained an acquaintance from LinkedIn. Okay, now it was a lady. Okay, so this lady somehow or other managed to convince this person that an investment exists in Malaysia, that this VIP, if he were to invest 2.5 million ringgit, that would be a guaranteed return of 40% of ROI confirmed every single year. And this person, without doing any background check, just trusting the mere beautiful look of this woman, he actually invested. And turned out that company, that investment, that organization, that scheme does not exist at all. That 2.4 million ringgit just evaporated just like that. For those of you guys basically that see the news, you probably know what I am talking about. For those of you guys who are not following the news, I suggest you guys go and have a look. I'm not going to say who, but you probably would have a good idea once you do a slight little bit of Google search on investment scam 2024, which person it was. Okay, I'm not going to say the name, right? But yeah, this is what happened. So if you're concerned about where or what exactly can I get and where can I get this particular bits of information, you may go to check out to MyCert. Yes, Malaysian government has got excellent research area. You may go to mycert.org.my. That's right over there, mycert.org.my. And you can check on the incident statistics. And bada bim, bada boom, here we have it. Year 2024, we have that same data here. And so far, berapa kita sudah ada? 2,500, 2,518 as of right now. And where we are still in July. I mean, we're starting in July. And here's the best part. We have stats from 1998 until 2004. If I were to time travel back as far as 1998, we have a colorful rainbow. 1998, 342 only. 2023, 5,917. So can you guys understand that from 1998 up to last year, we have grown exponentially. The threats are no longer a child's play. This is a serious problem. All right? So there we go. I said what I said. Now, again, this is not a data from me, but I would say this data here is actually from PDRM, Police Raja Malaysia. Okay, this data will be later published, but I'm just rushing in to give you a brief overview of the top 5 aspects of the primary 2024 key findings and the concerns. Apparently, in Malaysia, online shopping scam is numero uno, number 1. Yes, things that does not exist in Lazada, people cannot scam. Instagram purchases. I don't know what's wrong with the kids nowadays. They see an iPhone for 2,000 ringgit, they want to buy. I mean, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I would love a bargain too, where if somebody sells me an iPhone that was 8,000 ringgit for maybe 6,000 ringgit, I could possibly fall for it. But come on, for 2,000 ringgit, they think, wow, it's so cheap. They paid the money, and guess what? The item doesn't get delivered, and someone will actually just destroy the Instagram account, and gone you go with the money. Okay? Number two, phishing and vishing. Okay. Now, for some reason, for some reason, the Nigerian prince. Do you guys know what I'm talking about here? Are you familiar with this Nigerian prince? For those of you guys who are quite young, you probably might not know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I feel I'm too old. But I'm going to tell you this. See, the Nigerian prince has evolved. Now, question: who is this Nigerian prince? All right, who is this guy? And what does he have to do with cybersecurity? And what does he have to do with the phishing? Let me explain. Nigerian prince is a guy who does not exist, but he would write an email to you. Right? Yep. Let me show you guys the Nigerian prince email. So the email would go something like this. Okay, dear sir, I am Prince blah 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 from Nigeria. Your help will be very appreciated. I want to transfer all my fortune outside. If I don't know, typo error here, outside Nigeria due to a frozen account. If you could be so kind to transfer a small sum of 3,500 USD to my account, I would be able to unfreeze my account and transfer my money outside of Nigeria. To repay your kindness, I will send you $1 million to your account. Please contact me to proceed. Prince Nigeria scam. But guess what, people? The year is 2024. There is still some makcik there still send the money. There is still some pakcik there sending the money. There's one uncle and auntie, some, whoever it is, Malaysians. We are just diversified. We are colorful. To a lot of people, they see that, wow, if I were to send $3,500, I'll get $1 million. So it's a good, worthwhile return of investment. So some people, without knowing who this person is, and God forbid, for those of you guys listening to me right now, this particular prince of Nigeria has evolved to Pak Arab, has evolved to one guy who's rich from India, also one rich guy coming from China, maybe one rich guy coming from Morocco. We've got a lot of variants of this Nigerian prince that is constantly sending email across many emails in Gmail. Yes, to some extent, Gmails, to some extent, the Gmail can only filter to a certain extent. But if the email is new, if the context is fresh, the Gmail does not flag such an email, and your email still goes and drops into your inbox, where our uncle, our auntie, your mom, your dad, even you yourself could even fall trapped to this. Okay, so this Nigerian prince guy, I swear to God, this guy doesn't exist. Okay, but he has been evolving ever since. Okay, and guess what? Nowadays, with modern technology, they are even able to make a call to originate from Nigeria to your mobile phone, and this guy can talk to you to add on another layer of convincing. Okay, yeah. This is where I am getting scared, because AI technology is becoming more and more scarier day by day, and I've even got cases of many people reporting to PDRM now that their daughter or their son voices were somewhat cloned by some perpetrator, and they would call the mother and father, say, Mak, ni contohnya Adli hari ni ada problem mak, boleh hantar duit tak? Ada problem sikit lah, boleh hantar 5,000 tak sekarang ke akaun saya? Mak dia pun, like for example, percaya lah, because the son asking, right? Turn out the son never called. It was someone else that got the number of the mother and know the name of the son and made the call, established the connection, and the phone call was short. It was literally less than 3 minutes. They were able to clone the voice, and they were able to instill an element of urgency to the mother, and got 5,000 ringgit, and the guy just vanished. The mother lost 5K. Nasib baik 5,000. Imagine if it was 500,000. Imagine if it was 1 million. So again, like I said, phishing and vishing, what's the difference? Phishing is via email, phishing is via voice, but they are equally dangerous too. Oh, this guy here, wow. Investment scam. I have to talk about this. Now, a lot of us, you know, I don't blame humans to think this way, but a lot of us are looking for financial freedom. A lot of us are looking for a way on how we can make an extra bit of money. Okay, a lot of us are looking for ways of how we could basically, retire earlier, right? Uh, so there are a lot of investment scams that's going around. Uh, Examples: fake job scam. Just give me a second. Now, for those for those of you guys who does not know about fake job scam, it's like sometimes if you see in Facebook, there are a lot of this particular. Just give me a second. Let me show you guys what I mean. See this? Hello, primary duties include picking up passengers, blah 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 blah. Dia bagi tahu lah. Okay, 7 hours per day, $2,000 per week. So a lot of us were like, oh, good money lah, $2,000 a week. Good money, what? So we apply. But you know what the guy will say? If you want to apply for this job, you must pay a deposit of, let's say, $500. But you pay the deposit, and guess what happened? Burn. Okay. So here's one example of a job. The other one in Malaysia is yang paling besar tu adalah apa, buat ad kat Facebook. Okay. Uh, like contohnya dia bagi apa? They say, let me just give me a second. Okay, see this? Scam alert. We are hiring social media specialists. Gaji berapa? 120 sampai 200 sehari. Okay. And then they tell you what? Regularly post in company FB and IG, work remotely, no experience required. So ada mamak ni tanya lah, ayo karangan too long, we don't have time to read my broken English. Whatever lah, if interested, we'll read. Is it because karangan or because you guys are scamming people? Ini pandai sikit lah, celik pandai sikit. Okay. Yeah, so modus operandi dia is they would give you a job, they will pay you. Yeah, here's the best part. They will pay you one round. Second round, they pay you. And then they will say, kau nak gaji lebih tak? Mungkin 2,000, 3,000. Okay. Kalau kau nak 2,000, 3,000, kau bayar RM4,000 deposit. After you bayar RM4,000 deposit, your pay scale akan naik kepada RM2,000 sehari. And then, dia kata, untuk RM4,000 yang kau dah bayar, kita akan deduct from your 2,000 tu, kita akan deduct RM200 lah. Kira you dapat RM1,800. And a lot of people like, oh yelah, betul lah kan. So they will be like, okay lah. So kenapa 4,000? Yelah, takut kau nanti berhenti kerja. So they actually plan in such a way that, that you are more convinced with this modus operandi, and you do pay for it. And guess what? Your money is just gone. There are many like this. I can go on talking about this, but just to give you an idea, this one here, my God, the BEC. The BEC is the massive issue that's happening in Malaysia. Now, I think there's about 97 people here in my group right now that is listening to me lah. Okay, and of course, I'll show you guys a demo about this kejap lagi. And yang ni pun sedih jugalah. Fake charity scam. Kadang-kadang if you look at in Facebook kan, they have this little baby, anak ni kebularan tak makan, tolonglah bantu dia. Lepas tu adalah one video yang dia kata, ibu ni ibu tunggal, kesian ibu dia telah suami dia telah meninggal dunia. Dia sebatang kara menjaga anak dia, sebatang kara jaga cucu dia, macam-macam lah kan. So kita sebagai manusia pun rasa macam sedih kita tengok. We feel like our heart is so heavy. We feel our heart is so like humans, right? And besides, we Malaysian, we love to help. I mean, talk about some other countries, I don't know lah. But Malaysia, when it comes to charity, we are number one. We help. Isu Palestin pun kita tolong. Tapi in Malaysia, sayangnya, isu Palestin, nak tolong Palestin tak masalah. Masalahnya kita tolong dia, dia tolong diri dia sendiri. So dia buat tabung Palestin, makan sendiri. Lepas tu ada buat tabung apa untuk tolong nak apa kata apa? Tolong anak-anak yatim. Makan sendiri. Macam-macam ada. So fake charity scams are also what police are hunting down. But the problem is this. The problem is fake charity scams are all done using not a verified or not a verified Malaysian context. Dia guna apa? GoFundMe. I'm not so sure if you do this. Like anyone in the world, if you have access to GoFundMe, you can create your own fund. You could raise your own fund and whatnot. And there is no way to find out if this charity is real. Like, for example, look at this. Help Raziba and her family leave Gaza before it's too late. Okay? 12,300 people have donated. Now, the question is there any way to know if this person, Rahiba, is really a genuine person or not? How do we know? Right? Dia kata apa? Ada Instagram, ada TikTok. For all that you know, it could be a fake TikTok. It could be a fake Instagram. Right? But we just help these people. If it's real, if it's true, if it's verified by some government agencies, I don't have a problem giving my money. Tak ada masalah. Tapi if this money is going to some scammer's bank account, now I have a problem with that for sure. So again, be careful of how you donate. Donating is a very honorable deed. I think everyone in Malaysia should donate, but not to scammers, not to bad people. Okay. So again, these are 2024 key findings. Now, again, you know where was this? This is in Damansara. Yes. Dah kena cukup. This is not from PDRM punya archive file. This is actually from a Star newspaper shopping scam. Okay. I'm not going to tell you who, but a lot of people who are doing the shopping scams are from China. Why? I don't know. Okay. We have Filipinos. We have India guys from India. Okay. We have China guys from China. We have Indonesians from Indonesia. God knows, you know, we have berbilang bangsa, berbilang kaum, masyarakat majmuk in terms of the scammers. Yes, banyak. And their job every day, sit down at a table like this, make the call. Macam multi-level marketing. They make the call. They get commission out of it, right? Rakyat ramai ditipu, jenayah cyber, banyak dah kena cukup kan? Tu nampak. But too late lah. Tapi once the police department going to arrest these people, the problem is this. A lot of them tak ada IC, tak ada passport. Apa lagi? Identity dia tak betul. Some of them visa overstay. So pihak PDRM also cannot take any criminal action kecuali kena deport lah. So which means the best thing that we can do adalah kita deport. Tapi kita deport dia pun dia balik lagi. Itu masalah. So okay, ada soalan pula kat seperti ni. Ada kata when was this? Well, this was last year, kawan. Last year punya data lah. Aku pun scan je lah apa yang ada. So anyway, so if you are a business person, then most likely I would say your bigger impact as a business person or person running a business or a person working for a business is the impact on email compromise. Yes, this one here cannot lari lah. I tell you what, I ada satu statistik lah. Mungkin ada yang tak nak setuju ke, nak setuju, terpulang. Tapi statistik saya macam ni. My statistics say that kebanyakan lelaki dan kebanyakan para kaum perempuan, password dia senang kita nak guess. Sekejap, sebelum aku masuk sana, aku nak cerita dulu. Macam mana si hacker ni can get access into your data. I tell you what, a lot of you guys, you advertise yourself greatly. Oh, you don't believe me? How many of you guys here got LinkedIn? Now, you be honest to me. I got all your names right now. I can look it up right about now, okay? All of you guys got LinkedIn, right? Oh, okay, so Muk Siu Chong Song say don't have. Okay lah, okay lah. Uh, don't have ah. Okay, well, if you don't have, you don't have. I gotta take your word for it, all right? But I guess a lot of you guys who are besides Mr. Muk Siu Chiu Song might have LinkedIn. That's the way how you get recognized in the industry, right? That's how you apply for the job. That's how you got headhunted. That's how a lot of your informations are shared. For example, your background education. You share your experiences. You share where you studied, what courses you have done, what are your previous affiliations, what are the previous company you've worked with. So when you publicize, when you actually share all of that information, that is number one catalyst for attackers to gather information about you. Number two, a lot of you guys would actually share information about your Instagram and your Facebook publicly. Now, I am Generation X. Okay, being Generation X, we were raised by baby boomers, and we were we were like had a hard parenting. So for us, we are always on the vigilance mode, right? But people who are Generation Z or Generation Alpha, it's a bit different in terms of their life because being publicly visible, being publicly noticed, getting a lot of likes are part of the social norm for them. Now, not for me though. I don't care if you come and like me or not. I don't even bat an eye. But for Generation Z or anyone after that, Generation Alpha, it's a whole different ball game. So when you share too much of information, when you get fan-based mails, when you get a lot of correspondence happening with your fans, a lot of you guys are probably, I don't know if you've got any influencers here in our training today. So it doesn't matter who you are. We tend to respond to emails that are legit. For example, Mr. X is from, let's say, UPM lah. Let's just imagine that. Lepas tu tiba-tiba Mr. X ni got an email. Alumni UPM tahun 2024 kita tengah buat gathering. Encik, contohnya Encik X, tolong klik link ini untuk Encik X daftarkan nama Encik untuk alumni tahun sekian. Lepas tu dia bawa lah kepada page Facebook. Kita like. Lepas like kita apa? Okay, saya nak RSVP. Okay, boleh. So dia buatlah campaign macam ni. Ada pula kadang-kadang contohnya night gala for kementerian sekian lah, contohnya kementerian beli dan sukan contohnya. So let's say your business is having any sports attire kan. So mestilah you nak pergi join kan. So when you get email as an invite to come into kementerian beli dan sukan, and then you get an invite and then they ask you to click on this link, mesti you click punya. But what you don't understand is what you open, what you click, what you basically fill up in a form. They are all initial starter points of how the attacks happens. Okay? Some emails are fake. Yes. Some emails are actually real from a real domain, but if you investigate further, it was basically tokenized email from some third-party email delivery services like MailChimp. Okay. Sometimes you get attachments like PDF. Sometimes you get attachments such as Excel file ke apa, I don't know lah. Okay. And baru-baru ini, it does not come with attachment, but it comes with a fileless infection. Ini pun dah teruk. And then of course, when you click on it, when you open it, when you do something about it, people just do it, right? People just do it because people are just ignorant, right? I'll give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. Sekejap, Just give me one moment. I'm just going to show you guys a nice little experiment to prove my point. Hold on. Sorry, give me a second. All right, so I'm almost there. I'm so sorry. Just give me a minute. I'm going to show you guys a little QR code. Okay, I'm going to show you guys a little QR code. I want you guys to help me to do something. So give me a minute. If you have your phone with you right now, okay, if you have your phone with you right now, can you guys do me a favor by scanning a QR code for me? Don't worry. Okay. You see this QR here? Can you please help me to scan this QR code? Okay. Don't worry lah, it's just a QR one. Okay, that's what you think. Tiba-tiba banyak orang sudah scan QR code. Did you guys know what the hell you just did? Here you go. Nah, nampak? Kepada kawan-kawan kita yang baru saja scan QR code tadi, korang dah kena kencing. Faham tak? Aku tak kata, ada seorang ni pakai Vivo pula kan. Vivo browser, yang terakhir tu lah dia pakai Maxis. Lepas tu pula, ada seorang pakai Maxis juga. Nak tahu alamat rumah dia, boleh kita boleh cari. Nak tahu dia kat mana, IP address dia. Ada seorang tu pakai iOS 17, ada yang pakai Samsung internet berapa lah, aku lupa lah. Lepas tu ada yang pakai apa, ada yang pakai iPhone. Pakai iPhone pun berlambat juga. So macam-macam kita jumpa. Ini apa ni pula? Sekejap data kah? Ini ada kawan kita seorang. Dia sekejap, sorry, kejap. Saya cuba nak besarkan dia pun tak boleh. Okey. Ada kawan kita seorang ni lah, sahabat kita ni. Rumah dia ni dekat Blok H. Siapa tu cepat baik mengaku. Kalau tak aku cari kau. Aku siap boleh tahu. Mamat kita ni pakai iOS 17.5. Dia pakai Streamix. ISP dia Streamix Telekom. Aku ingat dia pakai Wi-Fi kot. Tapi berdasarkan pada data handphone dia, kita tahu mamat kita ni berada dekat, aku pun tak tahu kat mana ni dah. Dia buka tak street map? Aku pun tak pastilah. Tapi adalah aku rasa kat mana ni. Jalan Profesor Diraja Ungku Aziz. Boleh reverse jugalah. Ini kalau scammer kita boleh detect. Masalah dia, ini mangsa. Ini mangsa dekat Columbia Asia. Tak tahu dia bikin apa kat sana tu. Dekat The Tree Subway ada Guardian tepi tu kan. Aku kata, mamat dia minum kopi kat Coffee Bean and Leaf. Lepas tu dia dengan kita cerita lah kat sini. Itu cerita dia. Mamat ni kat PJ. Dapat pun lokasi dia. Accuracy of radius 35 meter. Sekarang kita ambush ni memang boleh tangkap lah. You guys understand what I'm talking about right now? Aku pun tak tahu kopi apa diminum lah. But you guys understand what is happening right now, right? So, let's just recap what just happened. It kind of looked like as if you scan a QR code. Tapi let me ask you an honest question. Berapa banyak di antara korang ni yang scan QR code suka hati? Betul tak? Fikir dulu. Berapa banyak antara korang yang scan QR code kat restoran, ada yang nampak pantang tengok QR code, scan. Pantang tengok QR code melekat kat mana-mana, scan. Do you guys understand the fact that you just scanned a QR code just now, I was able to even get your housing data. Okay? Ada siko lagi aku dapat. Ni siko ni siapa? Ni pula. Ni tak tahulah dia di kono-kono ni dia ni. Ni kat Kajang. Tak tahulah kat mana ni. Jalan apa? Jalan Sentosa 5 kah? Tak tahulah aku kat mana. Aku pun orang Kajang juga. Tapi tak pernah tengok pun. Ini rumah kampung kot. Aku rasa. Dusun tua. Mamat ni pakai apa? Dia pun pakai Apple computer. Intel based Mac. Yep. So, ni kawan lagi pandai. Dia pergi copy the QR code punya data, masuk kat sini dia klik pun dapat. Aduh, janganlah sampai macam ni. Okay, jangan sampai jadi victim. Okay. A lot of people asking, what URL to get those info? Come to my training, I will teach you. But anyway, I mean, don't worry lah. It's called IP logger. You see, IP logger. It can actually do what I did was I took the logger information, I converted it to QR code, and I pasted it and I gave it to you guys. And a lot of you guys just go and scan the QR code and bam, bada boom. So a lot of you guys, kalau nak cari ex-girlfriend you dekat mana, bagi dia QR code. Dia scan, tahulah kat lokasi mana dia ni. Kalau para perempuan kat sini nak tahu lokasi suami kat mana, bagi dia QR code. Suami scan QR code, kantoi. Dia kat rumah bini nombor 2 ke apa, tahulah. Persistent tak? Boleh dibuat persistent kalau kita pandai godek programming. Inilah website dia. Alah, apa sangat ni. Aku letak kat chat lah, senang orang ambil. Ilmu jangan kita kerkut, kena bagi. Okay. Aku rasa korang faham kan apa aku cerita. Okay. So anyway, so siapa yang selalu kena account compromise? Selalunya kabel besar orang kena. Siapa kabel besar? CEO lah. In cybersecurity, we got a name for this. It's called whaling. It's called whaling. So what is whaling? Whaling ni kita cari kabel besar lah. Siapa kabel besar? CEO, CIO, CTO, CFO. Orang-orang ni usually have higher level access. Correct. Whaling. What is the right word? Whaling. Ni, whaling. Mempaus. Ikan paus lah, ikan paus. Ikan paus, tahu ikan paus? So, nama teknik dia whaling lah. Kenapa whale pula kan? Answer is, CEOs are like a whale. Right? CEOs are like a whale. Why are they a whale? I don't know, but they got a lot of money, right? They have BMW, they got rich, they are super fancy, they got 4 wives. I don't know, man. I've met a lot of CEOs from Saudi Arabia. That guy got 8 wives. I'm surprised how he can maintain. I'm just saying. So, kena besar lah, banyak duit lah kan. That's why they call it whale. So, that's a target. They can send the whales, like for example, bogus invoice scheme, ataupun kadang-kadang dia boleh hantar surat macam apa, email macam potential partnership for long-term relationship, ataupun potential collaboration for sales, potential collaborations, or there's a tender coming up. CEO pantang dengan kataan tender. Nampak tender, mesti CEO klik punya. Right? So, I think mana-mana company pun, dia tengok perkataan tender invite je, mesti nak masuk. Okay? But the problem is, adakah dokumen yang dia attach dalam email tu betul-betul boleh kita percayai atau tak? Atau adakah dokumen tu boleh kita senarai sebagai whitelisted? Itu belum tahu lagi. Tapi secara fakta, adakah antivirus tu can actually detect that particular file and tell me if that file is basically clean? I'll give you an honest answer lah. Tak semua antivirus dalam dunia ni boleh buat kerja pun. Okay? Dan tak semua antivirus dalam dunia ni boleh detect pattern which is updated atau baru. Selalunya, antivirus pattern akan delay selama seminggu atau 2 minggu sebelum pattern tu di-updated. Saya jujur sebab saya kerja kat bank, saya kerja kat banyak tempat MNC, saya juga buat banyak threat analysis, saya juga banyak jaga budak-budak SOC. So I can tell you this. Kebanyakan cara kita tangkap malware tu bukan guna antivirus. Kita tulis kita punya pattern sendiri tau. We have our own regular expression, we have our own Yara signature, we have our own IDS rule that we create ourselves to catch all the additional attack signatures that antivirus normally can't attack. It can detect. I'm sorry. So that's why I'm saying, kita percaya sangat dengan antivirus, kadang-kadang antivirus kan menghampakan kita. So, be careful. So, bila kita klik hendaklah ni, contohnya invoice lah ataupun apa benda, kita klik benda ni, bang, kena compromise. Memang definitely kena compromise lah. Tapi what's the end game? Apa si hacker tu nak sebenarnya? Dia bukan nak tahu kau punya Facebook account, apa gunanya? I mean, what is the benefit for a hacker to know your Facebook data? You tell me, nothing. Dia nak duit, dia nak data. Hari ini dalam sejarah pula, berdasarkan sejarah, pada hari ini data itu bersamaan dengan duit. Ataupun ada satu artikel saya nak tunjuk, data versus oil. Ni, faham tak? Hari ini data is equivalent to oil. Okay, sorry, give me a second. Data is equivalent to oil. Berapa harga data hari ini pula kan? Kau mesti orang tanya kan? So, kalau data adalah sama dengan oil, berapakah jumlah aset untuk oil? Ni, dapat tak? The amount of value add potential by digital transformation is a $1 trillion business. Oil fields setakat berapa je? Nampak? So, that's why pada hari ini, the biggest target for many organizations breach is their data. So, sekejap. Hampa ada, saya ada demo nak bagi tunjuk. Okay? Kepada kawan-kawan kita hari ini, yang ikut saya punya session lah kan. Rasa-rasa korang tahu, bukan QR lah, jangan takut. Ini Muhammad siapa? Husni dah cuak dah. Dia dah cuak. Dia ingat takkan Mr. Desmond nak bagi QR code lagi. Tak ada. Aku bagi direct link punya. Boleh tak korang pergi kat link ni? haveibeenporn.com. Okay, can you guys go here? And what I want you guys to do is this. Don't worry, this website is perfectly safe. No scam. Nothing. Put your email here onto the email address. I want ramai-ramai. Go and click on that particular porn button. Cuba sekarang. Aku bagi korang 3 minit. Cuba. So soalan ni macam ni. Kepada sesiapa kawan-kawan kita yang dah masukkan email kat sini. Okay. Yang konon-kononnya rasa cuak. Cuak apa benda? Cuak dah kena hack. So this is the question. What is the objective of this particular website? The answer is this. This website is basically there for a reason. If you want to know if your personal account has been ever hacked or not, you can check from here. So question. Anyone here want to try? Give me the email address. Siapa ni? Husni. Boleh pinjam email address tak, Husni? Kita main check dulu Husni punya email address. Tengoklah. Husni kena kat mana? Okay, waduh, siapa ni? Okay, I got one lah from Mr. Arvindran. Okay, never mind lah. Doesn't matter. Thank you so much, Mr. Arvindran, for being such a good sport. He gave it to me. I'm going to just check. Mr. Arvindran, good news, sir. You are good to go. You are good to go. You are not a part of any breach. Now, this T. Costello, Mr. Husni, you, sir, you got a bad news. Not a good news at all. You have been blasa 12 kali. Kat mana hampa kena blasa? Okay. Nampaknya dah kena blasa dari tahun 2013. Nampaknya, Encik Husni, your email, your password, your username, your password hint pun dah kena belasah. Habis sudah. Okay, I got an honest question to Encik Usni. Bila kali terakhir tukar password? Bila kali terakhir tukar password? Faham tak? Dah sekarang dah tahu kan? Okay, next one kita tengok. Today. This one is maybe a collection of attacks lah. Oh, kawan kita pakai DivX. Aku rasa DivX ni lama punya video editing software kan? Oh, link India pun kena. Oh, dia pakai mail.ru. Rusia punya lah. Apa hal pula? Ada Russian girlfriend ke? Apa lagi? My Heritage. Konon-konon nak cari apa kita punya nenek moyang semua kan? Netlock. Slide Team. Ini pun baru ni. So, kira the thing is, kita percaya kat dia. Dia pula tak jaga data kita. So, apa yang jadi? Bila data bocor, orang-orang macam ni tak kena punishment tau. Tapi benda ni dah berubah. Right? I'm sorry, Husni. I'm not picking on you. But you've been a good sport. Thank you so much for giving me your email address. But for those of you guys who actually got this, and you can see yourself, I'm just hoping that you are self-aware. I'm just hoping that you're self-aware. But imagine the situation, I turn it a bit. Try to use your company email. Cuba tengok. Think about it. Think about your company email. Think about the emails that you are using for your online banking. Like a lot of us, I must say this, a lot of us, we would just probably use one or two emails throughout our life. Right or not? And a lot of us, kita tak banyak password tau sebenarnya. Paling banyak password pun 2-3 biji je. Antara apple, orange ataupun durian. Balik-balik benda tu je lah kita pakai. Because number one, we humans, we are lazy to remember too many passwords. Betul tak? Ada soalan. Muk Chiu Siong. What is Citoday? Citoday is basically a collection of all the data breaches that has happened in the past by some black hat hackers. Now, I'm going to come into that, Muk Chiu Siong. Don't worry. I'll explain to you. Citoday is basically a collection of attacks that is by APT groups. Who is this APT groups? Wait lah. Not Zap, sorry. APT groups. According to Mandian, there are a bunch of APT groups that are out there. So what is APT? Advanced Persistent Threats. They are state-sponsored hackers. They are funded by the governments. They are funded by Uncle Kim Jong-un, God knows whoever it is out there. I don't know. Okay, I can't speculate. But generally, most of APT attackers are from Russia, from China, from North Korea. Guess what? America as well. Oh yeah, the small player here, we have Iran. Yep, APT-39. So their primary objective is to steal high-tech data from reputable companies. Give me a minute. Let me think about a very nice use case scenario that I can relate to. Okay, you guys remember F-35 aircraft? I'm sure you know this, right? Lockheed Martin F-35. This is the state-of-the-art technology for aircraft. This guy can do magic. Okay. The F-35 aircraft, the research and development itself was about nearly hundreds of billions by Lockheed Martin. Not a joke. You can go research this. It's there on the internet. But somehow or other, F-35 have been cloned. Yes. By who? None other than our friend in China. They made a clone. That is an F-35 clone from China. Yes, sir. See that? Same, but different. You know the song from TikTok? Same but different. No money, no honey. Yep, this is the one. F-35, F-35, original F-35, hundreds of over billion of dollars of R&D. They clone the damn thing. There you go. And I didn't say it. It's on the news. China, I think China is smart. They did not invest the money, but they stole the source code, they stole the blueprint, they stole the engine working algorithms, and they created Shenyang J31, which is the Chinese F-35. Who did this? The APT actors. Why did this? I don't know. Okay, but it's there. So F-35 punya price is about $100 million per pop. This guy over here, not more than 25 million. Seriously. So that's how much of a price difference they were able to clone this out for. I got respect for the Chinese, man. They were able to pull this off. Okay. And it's even there on the website. I've read it. I was having a good laugh. I mean, here you go, America spending a shit ton of money, but the guys there, just clone it. But okay, let's come back to the point. The point is, the email addresses are continuously the target for most attackers. APT attacks, if you look at it, they actually follow a particular framework called the cyber kill chain. Cyber kill chain is a well-known strategy used by bad people, especially APT actors, on the way how they weaponize emails or attachments. See this? The primary activity for a lot of APT actors are to basically use the reconnaissance attack. They weaponize it. As usual, they find a way how to deliver it. Guess what? Email is numero uno. Number two, they would infect the web. Example, the commonly visited websites that you would go for generally will be infected with a malware. All right. What kind of malware? Anything like a JavaScript hook-on scripts. It could be in a form of a Node.js exploits. It could be in any form and way that they could run a program just by you visiting the website, the browser. And just to add on, the worst browser that anyone could use today is Google Chrome. Oh, are you offended? Well, let me just give you the facts. Google Chrome vulnerabilities 2024. Sendiri pergi tengok lah. Okay. This year alone, dah berlambak bertabur Google Chrome punya vulnerability. Okay. Look at that. These are all the CVEs. The CVEs are the common vulnerability exposures for Google Chrome itself. There are a ton of it. So that's why for me, I am quite careful. Like this laptop I'm using right now is just nothing more than a laptop I use for home. Nothing really sensitive happens out of it. But nampak tak? Google Chrome, fourth zero-day exploit discovered in May 2024. Okay. Farah is asking, so basically Black Widow from Avengers is an example of an APT personnel. Well, if you relate to the Avengers, yes, they are. Yes, she is. Natasha Romanoff is an APT, correct. Trust me, I'm a big fan of Avengers as well, and I think Natasha is hot. So yeah, let's go back to here. So yeah, look at this. Fourth zero-day exploit. Question, what is a zero-day? I'll simplify it. Zero-day is basically a vulnerability condition that exists where it doesn't have a patch anymore. Yep. You heard me right. No patch yet. And in Google Chrome, hari ini dah bertabur punya vulnerability. Dan antara tahu saya ada 40 pada tahun ni, cuma 20 dah kena patch. 20 lagi belum lagi di patch sebab Google sendiri tak tahu vulnerability ni kat mana. Okay. Siapa yang buat? Balik lagi kepada APT. Kenapa dia buat? Selamba dia nak curi data. Kenapa dia nak curi data? Dia nak jual data lah. Atau dia nak guna data. Okay. So itu adalah antara sebab kenapa you have to be quite careful with your data. Faham tak? So contohnya lah, kalau takut sangat, browser apa kita nak pakai? Ini aku susah nak cakap. Because mana-mana browser pun memang ada vulnerability. Okay? Don't think because I use an Apple computer, my laptop pun secure. Tak ada. I use Apple pun 2x5 juga masih ada vulnerability. Cuma dibandingkan dengan Windows and Apple, Windows bertabur banyak, Apple masih ada tapi sikit. Tapi ada, masih ada. Jangan takut. Masih ada. Cuba di compare Windows 11, Mac yang baru, it's still there. It's still there. That's why in cybersecurity, the demand for the people who work there, right? Dia kata apa? Usni kata need to change to Linux. Bro, you change Linux, it's the same problem. The problem is not with your OS. The browser injects a data to your kernel level file and exploits your vulnerability. So if your Linux is vulnerable, the Chrome acts as a catalyst to get access to your Linux. Faham tak? So walaupun I pakai Apple, tapi for me, the only way I jaga I punya data is very simple. Whatever data yang penting, whatever data yang sangat sensitive, saya takkan letak dalam condition naked in my laptop. I would encrypt my folder and keep it encrypted. So in worst come to worst scenario, if any hacker were to come and steal my data, my folders, even if they can steal it, good luck to them, because ain't no way they will be able to discover my encryption key to decrypt it. That is my strategy. Okay. So dalam Linux or in Windows, we have something called BitLocker. You can use BitLocker to encrypt your files, or you can use any other third-party encryption tools to encrypt your folders or your files. Make sure that particular information, in the worst-case scenario, if it does get leaked out, at least your data is safe, right? So let's just quickly recap. So a lot of you guys who tried this, so a lot of you guys who actually went on with the experiments, if you could relearn back, what could happen is there is no control of how you can protect against data breach. To be honest, yes, there's no control. Why is there no control? Well, simple. Number one, the data is not controlled by you, it's controlled by a third-party provider. Now, there was also, okay, even though if you install firewall, no lah. If only you know what I know, you probably think again. The idea is this, walaupun kita ada firewall, jangan ingat bahawa firewall tu akan sentiasa boleh mempertahankan security. I'll give you a simple analogy lah. In Windows, firewall tak boleh block semua. There is a simple laws of physics. What can go out can come in. What can come in can go out. I don't know how you want to understand this, but if you can just play along with me and understand the fact that, let's say your firewall were to block all the ports, you cannot surf the website, correct? So if you want to surf the website, what must you do? You must enable certain port for your traffic to go through. For example, port 80, port 443. Your data must go out. So what hackers are doing nowadays is they implant malware that actually hook on to your port 80 and port 443 and encrypt the data and send the data outside. It's like this. It's like smuggling data right under your nose without you knowing it. Yes. If you even have HTTPS, masih berlaku. Can. Most hackers now are not so stupid like those days. Those days hackers, maybe they are the belas kasihan lah. Nowadays hackers, they are even more brutal. So be warned, be careful, okay? And be vigilant. Okay. So I've spoken to you guys about what's the worst case scenario that has happened. But let's go and review a bit on how we can protect ourselves, or at least secara minimum kita adalah incident response process kita sendiri. How do you protect yourself? Yes, we can talk about firewall, we can talk about IDS, we can talk about antivirus, we can talk about DLP, macam-macam we can talk about. But all of that is useless if you do not have an incident response process, correct? A simple example of incident response process is, let's say tiba-tiba ada orang pingsan. You probably know how to do CPR, kan? Okay, that's the incident response process. Atau tiba-tiba ada orang yang ada heart attack. You probably know how to install a defibrillator onto the heart and then turn on the machine. That's the incident response process. Or even at least you should know how to resuscitate the person using a, you know that, I forgot the word, the resuscitation method by pressing the palm onto the person's diaphragm and then pressing 1, 2, 3, press, 1, 2, 3, press. These are all examples of medical incident response. But however, in cybersecurity, it's not as simple as that, because cybersecurity incident response plan evolves around a very thorough, meticulous, and detailed process on how you prepare the identification process of how you identify anomalies, what are the indicators of compromise, indicators of attacks. You probably will have to have a very detailed script or a playbook on how you have identification process. Lepas tu bila dah kena blasar, kena malware, kena ransomware, how do you do containment? How do we work on eradication process? How do we recover? And how do we even conduct a lesson learned? And this is not a one-time process, it's a continuous process. So this, a lot of people who are working in SOC, generally, they practice this. Maybank ke, CIMB ke, RSB ke, apa-apa bank lah. Memang ada benda ni. Cuma soalan dia adalah, is the process mature, repeatable, measurable? Are the process valid? These are the common questions that we continuously ask. Sometimes you prepare the incident response last year. Tahun ini, semua attack dah berubah. Maybe you're not prepared. That's why a lot of incidents fail. Okay? There's a question from, I think it's Vishnu, I think. He says, why we get so many calls from bank regarding credit cards, marketing, insurance, etc. How bank can access our personal data? That's a very wonderful question. By right, they should not use your private data because it's a direct violation of PDPA. I think you as the end user, you have the right to lodge a complaint with regards to your privacy, because now in Malaysia, we have a law that if someone were to abuse your data for their own profit without your consent, they can be punishable. So I think what Vishnu you can do is when you get calls like this, get which branch, get their name, get the email address, and lodge a complaint to PDPA and tell them that I did not consent for such a marketing effort, but this bank is calling me, I'm lodging a complaint. So the PDPA can actually take an action on behalf of the bank. They can, worst come to worst, they can fine lah, that's about it. But bank pun bandai, you know what they do? They actually give your personal information to a third-party marketing company to help selling. They makan commission sikit lah. Okay? So yeah, again, is that an incident? I would say that's more into a process violation, but that's not an incident. Incident is where when your credit card data, when your private data leaked out. Okay? So who's involved in an incident response role? Generally, we assume that cybersecurity or incident response is an IT problem. No, it's not. Incident response in a business is a business problem. Okay? It's a business problem. You might need to have a correct, thorough incident commander, a scribe assistant lah kan, ataupun a deputy untuk membantu dalam kita punya chain of command. Lepas tu pula kadang-kadang in an incident kita kena ada internal liaison and external customer liaison, right? Internal liaison, for example, you probably have to connect with your SOC department, your IT department, whatever. Your customer liaison is those people who are from a PR department that must call the customers and tell them, hey, look, this happened, blah, 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 take care of your data. And generally, in terms of operation, all of the subject matter experts are equally involved in the incident response roles. Yes. So, as a process of incident response, you probably would see in the preparation, you probably have a lot of activities of implementing a proper CSIT group, a playbook. What's a playbook? A playbook is nothing more than a step-by-step instruction or a process or a procedure that you have to do when an incident happens. Uh, you also probably would need to have training personnel templates. You must also prepare the test and exercise before you start working on your incident response. Number two is, of course, you probably need to also work with the incident response team and your CSIRT team or SEMT activation teams on how do you know if it's an incident or not. Like, for example, kita detect traffic pukul 3 pagi, data sebanyak 4 terabyte dihantar keluar. Nampak sangat data tengah kena belasah lah kan? Nampak sangat. So, that is contohnya macam mana kita dapat anomaly lah kan? Nombor tiga, bagaimana kita dapatkan evidence. Example macam evidence apa? RAM is an evidence. Hard drive is an evidence. Your network traffic is an evidence. Your utilization, your CPU process, the registries, these are all evidences which we will use to analyze how the attack happens, and we'll have to work in our way on how we recover and we eradicate. Okay? And last but not least is, from all the incidents, it's expected in an incident response, people should make sure that that information is continuously used to better improvise the incident process so that it doesn't happen again. It might not be perfect the first time around, but with the right practices over and over again, eventually incident response process becomes a second nature. So, antara benda-benda yang selalunya kita jaga untuk incident response adalah seperti, what are we going to do bila kena ransomware? What we should do when you kena phishing? What we should do bila password attack? Denial of service? What you should do bila detect insider threat? Cross-site scripting, man in the middle, SQL injection, zero-day exploit, dan sebagainya. Okay? Antara teknologi-teknologi yang kita gunakan dalam proses incident response tu adalah SIEM. I'm talking about Splunk. I'm talking about QRadar. I'm talking about any SIEM or log management tools out there that can be useful in terms of the preparation. You probably also would use tools like EDR. This is outside of antivirus, outside of firewall. We actually have this additional tools that we use. This is where I come in, because I teach people in my training how to use all these particular tools appropriately and properly so that you can actually do a large-scale incident detection and response for your organization in the worst come to worst scenario such an incident were to happen. Okay. Again, like I said, these are the tools that I will use as a part of the training. Just a quick note on that, a side note. The exact things I was talking to you guys here in terms of incident response and the tools and whatnot, it's actually taught by our JamRain partners. JamRain is our partner. By the way, as I told you, I work for CertNexus. As a part of CertNexus, we actually have a certification for cybersecurity, and the one I'm talking about right now is actually the CyberSec First Responder. Now, this is the training that I teach people on how to basically improve the cybersecurity state of your business or organization. So if you're a person who's studying for SOC or learning SOC businesses, if you're a person who are basically starting up with cybersecurity, many young boys now sikit-sikit kata aku nak jadi hacker. You know what? Kau jadi hacker, yelah, maybe you can have some business lah. But business out there needs more responders than hackers. You understand? So I would suggest that you probably would need to go. Thank you so much for Puvan to upload it here. You guys can check it out over here. The course that I teach is actually a course that's been accredited by DoD. So whatever I teach for Department of Defense in the United States is the same thing I teach for people in Malaysia or all around the world. The courses here is generally a certification in nature. It is basically not for the faint of heart. So you probably need to have a prerequisite of Linux. You can either understanding of network topology. You have to have a threat intelligence background. You can have a banyak background. So you can ask the salespeople from Jamrain on what is the prerequisites. But generally, this particular course is suitable for people who are doing SOC or people who want to embark on the journey of incident response. It's a multiple choice question certification, no doubt. Tapi bukan senang nak pass. So usually kena ada 3 hingga 5 tahun experience lah. Okay. Minimum lah. Sebab kalau tak, you are not going to understand what I'm going to talk about. So minimum kena ada experience lah. So antara benda yang kita belajar kat sini macam mana? Kita belajar berdasar siasat RAM. Kita belajar berdasar siasat hard disk. Kita belajar macam mana kita nak buat forensic. Kita belajar macam mana kita nak buat incident response. Bagaimana kita nak tengok ada tak kecurian data dalam traffic. Bagaimana kita nak decode balik pattern of attackers. Dan semua benda tu lah. And kalau korang nak tahu what exactly you study, mohon korang rujuk kat link kat sini. Dia ada blueprint. You guys can see what exactly you learn. 5 domain, 5 days. A lot things that you will learn in the course of 5 days. But all within a manageable, lesson. Okay. Our courses are approved by Kaspersky themselves. Yes. And we use it for FEMA. Okay, so if you are any of this particular job, if you are any of this, feel free to come in and join the training. Okay, so that's a bit of my pitch. That. So what we are learning is incident response, tapi incident response ada forensic. Okay, so dalam kelas kita nanti adalah kita belajar pasal how to investigate iPhone, how to investigate Android, how to investigate laptop. Hey, if any of you guys want to go and see what was the data that your son is doing, bring your son's laptop, we can bedah siasat. Right? Any advice for other work field into cybersecurity? I think it's okay lah. I mean, doesn't matter where you are, as long as you can catch up, as long as you boleh ikut dia punya concept, I think tak ada masalah kot. Tapi kan, like I said lah, kalau boleh, if you have experience, be better. Kalau tak ada experience, kena catch up banyak lah. Dia punya terminology, dia punya apa? Dia punya work scope semua kena tahulah. Anyway, this is my 2nd hour ngam-ngam. I'm finishing it. I don't, for the rest of you guys, please take your time to scan the QR code. Don't worry, this QR code is saved by Jamrain. Not from me, It's a good link. It's a good link. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Ini aku boleh bagi guarantee lah. So this one I can give guarantee. Wah, dia kata share link pula. Okay lah. Can you guys please scan the QR code? Scan the QR code and fill up the evaluation. I can open up the floor for any of you guys who wants to ask me any questions. Go right ahead. I'm more than happy to answer. Although I did not go too detailed in terms of technicality, but I'll save it for the training. Cert Nexus is basically a partner with Jamrain. We are more than happy to help Jamrain to make sure that we deliver a top-notch training for the customers of Jamrain. So we always make sure the quality is good. So there's a question from Jessica. Do you have sandbox recommendation to exploit that suspicious links? Yes, I do. In fact, I kind of use. Are you familiar with Joe Sandbox? Hold on. Hold on. Pernah dengar? This is to answer Jessica's question. Jessica, if you're there, There you go, Jessica. Browser link. Ini I guna lah. Browser sandbox. Hope that answers your question. I know you're concerned. So you have browser link, which is nothing more than a browser URL sandbox. I kind of use that a lot. For the links I don't trust, I use this. Oh my God, this question from Mr. Kamalam. I'll tell you my honest answer. No, you're not going to get your money. Even if the scammer were to get caught, ain't no way you're going to get back your money. For simple reason is the first thing that the scammer will do once they get the money, they will transfer it to a Bitcoin to the bosses, because all scammers work in a multi-level marketing kind of a pyramid where the bosses actually suck out the money. So in worst case scenario, if the scammer kena kantoi, the boss cabut dengan duit. So I'm very sorry, Mr. Kamalam. Ain't no way you're gonna get your money. I'm so sorry. Right. Mr. Kim Siu. Okay, very interesting question, sir. How any step for protecting yourself? Okay, I would say first of all, the choice of your password is number one. Number two, do not only depend on password for all your online transactions. Like here's an example. Maybank to you slowly stepped away from SMS-based OTP to MAE secure to you platform. So that is a clear indication of a 2FA rollout. So meaning if for all your online transactions or only Gmails or whatever have you, make sure it's a two-factor authentication based security instead of just relying heavily on just a username and password alone. Number two, passwords are generally, they say passwords have to be changed often, but I think make a password that is long enough beyond 16 characters, because it's going to be impossible for anyone to break it. But yet, remember, passwords are just as good as your strategy. So password with OTP or with 2FA are best ways to go about it. Number three, patch your computer often. Number four, make sure your signatures, your antivirus signatures are up to date. This is the best you can do. But beyond that, I think the best thing you can do is to also use if you don't trust a link, use a browser sandbox like I just shared just now, probably on that. But my best advice to any of you guys is, if in doubt, don't click. If you don't know, don't click. If you never heard of the person, don't click. No matter if the person's name is very familiar, check the email, verify, know it's a real company. If they ask you any sensitive information, don't send first. Call the person, verify, right? Would the cybersecurity field be a saturated market in the future, as is highly? No, Farah. If I can be honest to you, we are having a downtrend of employment. We don't have enough cybersecurity people. I teach people in Maybank. I teach people in CIMB. The reason why a lot of them berhenti kerja is because tak tahan stres. Itu je sebab pun. Bukan sebab tak dapat kerja, tak. Sebab stres. Demand. The demand is too much. So kadang-kadang banyak company tu dia expect too much from you. So bukannya sebab tak boleh kerja, tak. And there's a lot of work. There's a lot of job opening. Tapi sayangnya kat Malaysia, demand banyak, tapi supply tak ada. Use in private window and VPN for web browsing. Can also lah. But I'll be honest with you also, VPN is just the tunneling. In private window, at the end of the day, if you still click, you still kena. So VPN can protect from you from the traffic lah. That's about it. But beyond that, if you download something, if you install something, you sure kena one. Oh, Yishun. Ayo, sorry lah. I don't have any sample exam questions here. I'm not in the liberty to share. I'm an employee for CertNexus. I am not supposed to give out the questions. I'm so sorry. What kind of daily job needs to be done for security by security personnel? Well, Kim Bang Oi, your probable job for security, cybersecurity, is probably log analysis, traffic analysis, anomaly analysis. Probably setting up regular expressions for detecting some patterns. You probably have to decode some signatures, reverse engineering. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not the one hiring anyone. But yeah, that's about it. If you have, if I have cybersecurity certificate, do I need to proceed with a certified certificate? Can a job? Um, Firstly, I'm so sorry because a lot of companies out there they want sebab dia nak accredited certificate tau. Kalau tak memang susah dia nak hire lah. Macam how do I know you're a project management if you don't have PMP? It's like that, right? Do you have any information, materials about incident response exercise to share with us? If Jamrain can have another session where we can have a whole day kind of thingy, I would be more than glad to share with you a playbook. Right now, it's just a preview session, Jeffrey. I'm so sorry. I wish I had more time, but it's just a preview session. It's meant to be short. It's just to discuss the idea of incident response as per se. But assuming if we could have a session or two, maybe by Jamrain in the near future, I'll make sure that keep an eye out for you. And if you could come over, I could share the playbooks. Okay? At least I could also share with you some of the strategies and how you do the cyber drill. More questions by Abdul Mustaqim. What is a certificate relevant for junior IT security? Okay. Straightforward answer lah. Give it to you. Security Plus kena ada. CYSA Plus kalau boleh buat bagus lah. Sebab CFR ni dia consider to be a bit on the mid higher range. Dia sebab very technically inclined. Because to be honest, the guys who created CFR are the former instructors of SANS and EC Council. So yeah, so like we took the best of SANS and other certification and we came up with our own. So of course, compared to SANS, harga dia mahal, about $5,000 US. Kebanyakan rakyat Malaysia memang tak mampu lah benda tu. I don't know about the HRDF claimable stuff here. I don't know about the the training grants. You might want to check those informations with the salespeople from Jamrain. They might be able to help you out. For those of you guys who are unemployed, it's a good field to come into, seriously. I have been in this field for 35 years. Aku pun dah nak lama sejak lagi nak pension juga. But I'm trying my level best to stay on to this field for longer because I love teaching people. So yeah, if I could make it, a lot of us can make it. This is a stepping stone, guys. From here, you can venture into audit, you can venture into risk, you can venture into a lot of other jobs. But like I said, if you have a good, solid, strong foundation of incident response, you can climb up the ladder to be other jobs you want. Even compliance officer, you can do many things. So to answer Mr. Osake punya, salary range alamak. Adrian Leong, I'm so sorry. I do not know what is the Malaysian scale because I don't work in Malaysia pay grade. I work with American pay grade. But I can possibly share with you in Singapore, starting maybe from 3,800 Sing dollar for junior, can go as much as 5,000 Sing for intermediate. And if you're 5 years over with relevant certificate and whatnot, you can hantam 6-7K lah. I think so. But that's in Singapore. Malaysia, I tak pasti. I'm so sorry. I think it should be the same range, but in ringgit lah. If I can say so. What is the scale for American pay grade? In America, they hire a lot of remote SOC agents. Like I used to work for American Express and Visa. Most of the agents are basically on the American time zone, but work from home. So you'll be given a terminal. you remotely connect using RDP, and then you'll be given an entire tools and whatnot. Macam the same setup lah, but you have to work from home lah, boleh. So yeah, and how much is it? Geez, man, I don't know. American Express probably about, I would say, $3,000 US. I guess. I mean, don't quote me on it. It depends on your quality, depends on the interview. I'm so sorry. I wish I can answer more questions when it comes to interview. I'm not the one hiring here, so I do apologize. But you probably want to look in LinkedIn. There's a lot of opportunities for remote SOC workers. Are there any home lab suggestions that secure security for entry level? If you got Docker, you can run a lot of Docker scripts to build your own lab. I really don't have much recommendation off my hand because the labs evolve. But we do have labs that we have in a certain access. So in our lab, we have a whole network we build in our virtual environment to help students to learn. So yeah, that could help. But if you go to like websites like Go Hack Me and whatnot, there's some labs, but you probably have to pay some money. But if you want to cut costs, you want to do it locally from your own laptop, make sure your RAM is about 64 GB and whatnot, and then probably you can have some virtual machines, you can have some Docker instances, you can set up Kubernetes, and probably you can practice yourself for some Linux and whatnot. That's how I did it back in the days, at least. Yeah. Sorry, Ken. Any of the other questions probably you can relate to from the Jamrain people. They can be more than helpful to forward me the questions, and I can try my level best to answer to the best accuracy I can. Okay. Any other questions? I think I have answered. Okay, I've got one question here from Zarina. Do you have any other reliable apps to detect scammers besides Truecaller, Alama? To be very honest with you, I also use Truecaller. There are so many apps out there. I'll be honest to you. It's just that I kind of feel Truecaller a bit better. But I pakai Truecaller pun bukan yang free punya, I pay. The premium one is a bit better compared to Truecaller because the signatures are updated daily. Besides the one yang kita pakai free punya tu delete lah.